folks. This is Alicia with Alicia's Desk, and tonight we are going to be interviewing Dean Sturtevant of Green Unicorn Art. Now, Dean Sturtevant is a local artist, and he's also a local, show promoter as well as art show promoter. He has been amazing in this community, and he is down to earth, grounded, and absolutely wonderful. He is one of the 3 top guys that I always say go to their art shows, participate in their art shows, because they are just absolutely awesome. They're grounded. They're all about the artwork. They're all about the community and reaching out to the community. Sorry, new chair. I really got to get used to it. These guys are just amazing. So, Deano is one of my favorite people, and he holds a lot of his art shows at Des Moines New Age Shop and Community Center. Today, nope, not yet. Okay. I sent him the link and everything like that. I was a little late. Had to get a little bit more coffee. I swear, I run on adrenaline and coffee these days. Anyways, tonight he is going to be discussing his Under the Sea art show, which is going to be held at Des Moines New Age Shop and Community Center August 2nd and 3rd. So Friday and Saturday. I'm going to be participating in the show. I've got some pieces worked up for that. And I'm going to have 1 to 2 short stories along with those pieces. So you're going to see the little QR code, and it's going to be right up there with that going, hey, here. And my son, Arthur, as well, is going to be participating in it. And this is what I mean. Dean is just wonderful. He's fabulous. He just wants everybody to connect and be awesome. So his tagline is always enthusiasm. And he's holding another one in October, The Art of Magic. But without further ado, here's Dean. Hi, Dean.
Hi, Alicia. How are you?
Not too bad. How about you? I am so psyched that you came on and that we're talking about this. So I'm also going to send the link over to the Under the Sea Artist Group, if you're okay with that.
That sounds great.
All right. Talk about yourself. I already introduced you, but you go ahead.
Talk about myself. That's easy to do. I'm a wonderful subject.
Yes, you are. Absolutely.
Thank you. My name is Dean Sturtevant. I'm Green Unicorn Art. I've been doing art shows around Des Moines and everywhere else since 2011 as Green Unicorn Art. I've been doing artwork since I was 5 years old. Probably before that, I had a comic strip.
Real quick, who was the one that supported and pushed you when it came to your artwork? For me, it was my dad. I mean, he was hyper pushy.
My mother was a big proponent in my art. She worked at an envelope factory in Boone, and she would always bring home rolls of paper, and she'd wheel them across the house.
Wow.
And I still managed to, take a marker and draw, on things that I wasn't supposed to draw on. But my grandfather for many, many years still had a tax document that had my artwork on them. So that was good. But no, my mother was a huge proponent of my artwork. She always pushed it. I've been inspired artist who's a artist here in Des Moines.
You're dragging yourself a bit, hun. You're starting to pause and freeze.
Better.
No worries. All the Wi-Fi around town's been weird after the tornado. Still freezing.
Being a part of different shows. I just had a show here last Saturday in Boone, Erickson Library, and then that had a show at Greenfield, Iowa, to help support town and city there. So yes, I doing artwork. I love getting people involved. I love having a good time, and so it just makes my mother always said, "Enjoy your life. We'll enjoy it for you."
Okay.
I get to enjoy my life. So I have a corgi who's coming to see me.
Awesome. We love puppies on this show. We love puppies.
Yes. But yeah, no, people have referred to my artwork as Sharpie Foo, because I work in in colored Sharpies. But yeah, people refer to it as Sharpie Foo. But no, I really like doing it. I'm excited Under the Sea Art Show, which is August 2nd and 3rd at the Des Moines New Age Shop. And then, of course, I believe Alicia did the Art of Magic in October. So very excited for that.
Yes,
I have a lot of shows on between now and then. I just finished up DMing for the Too Many Words podcast, who I will be a part of their show August 31st at the Florida Cinema. The Too Many Burgers. Yes, yeah.
That's
be a good time there. Oh, yeah. And then I just had a show at Merle Mall. Enchanted Beauty sponsored that show. We had the Art Mart Des Moines, which I'm a part of as well. It's our 10th year this year. And I believe you were in one of the very first Art Marts, Alicia.
Yes, and I absolutely love it. I actually would love to get back to doing them. I just
You're busy.
No, I'm not necessarily. Well, yes, I'm busy, but I'm never too busy for that. I'm just like tired all the time, you know?
That happens, kids, family, life, that works.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, and then I have shows, let's see, October 19th, I'll be at Stony Creek Inn in Johnston for the mini-con, and then, yeah, so I can't remember.
Tell us a little bit about mini-con. What is mini-con?
Mini-con is put on by the Iowa Comic Book Club. It's a fantastic, small, local show. There's vendors, there's artists. It's a great time. People bring fantastic cosplays. I've always had a great time doing those. That was actually one of the very first table shows, ish, that I started doing. The very first convention type shows I did in 2014. I did my very first table show with them at the Minicon, and it was fantastic. Before then, I had volunteered at many of them, so it's always a great time. Before that, I had always done these little shows in Dahlia Junction, little farmers markets, little vendor fairs, whatnot. So, and it was the first time someone ever brought me their sketchbook and had me put a sketch in their sketchbook. So that was kind of a fun thing.
Tradition you've really continued, and I love that. When you first handed me a sketchbook, I was like, what do I do with this? What do you want to You're just like, oh my God, Alicia, calm down.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a really fun thing. People have always brought me their sketchbooks and be like, hey, we put a sketch on my sketchbook. I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm like, what do you want? And they're like, and they'll usually either have something in mind, or they'll say, hey, whatever you want to draw. I'm like, okay. And then I always have an idea in my head of if somebody says, whatever you want, free reign, what do I draw? So I've drawn, all kinds of things in people's sketchbooks. Excuse me. I have some people who bring their sketchbooks religiously to every show that I'm at, that I have a table at, and it's always been a blast. I
know that, and I hesitate to say this because I don't want to bring down the vibe, but I think the artwork I love best of yours was the commemoration of the puppies.
Thank you.
I love those. I mean, oh my God, they are just, I don't know what it is. They're like, whoa, they stand out over all your artwork. And that includes the Care Bear piece, which I love. But those pieces, they feel like they have so much heart in them. And I know they do, but you can really feel it.
They do resonate. Well, there's a lot of emotion there. It's someone's companion, someone's friend, someone's loved one that they've had for years. And I've had the opportunity and the blessing to be able to do quite a few of those over the years.
Tell us a little bit about those pieces, because those are my faves. Okay, outside of the Care Bears, those are my faves.
Those pieces are usually a pet has passed on, and I usually always do a picture of the pet, and in the background is the Rainbow Bridge poem, which talks about I'm gonna cry. Hold on. Well, I ended up having the opportunity to do one for my fiance after our Princess Buttercup passed
I love your
away.
puppy so much. But you know what?
Yeah,
She's still with you.
she is.
Still with
She's in the backyard. It's fine. Um, but anyway, no, it's just the Rainbow Bridge poem. If you're not familiar, it talks about the time of separation. They're fine, they're healthy, they're happy, and then one day you'll get to meet them again, and then you will both walk across the bridge together.
That is awesome.
So, yeah.
I've seen a lot of artwork where, and I really like it, where you have the new pet and the humans, just oblivious. They're going on, they're doing whatever, but the pet's just sitting there staring at something, and the human's like, what? And it's actually the pet that's passed on. It's translucent, it has the wings. It's like, okay, now these are all the perks of the human. This is what's going to go on. This is when they get anxious. Take care of them for me, okay? And the pet's like, got it. On the job, and that, I just think that is so cool, the idea of that.
Yeah. It's just, it's a beautiful thing to have the opportunity to have a pet choose you. I was married for a while, and we had some pets, and I didn't care for them, and I was single for a while, and I didn't have any pets. And then I meet my beautiful fiance, and she has 2 cats. And Oscar, who is a black and white tuxedo, declared, "Dean, you are my human now." And I'm like, "No, Oscar." And he goes, No, Dean, you must love me just as I love you. And so, yeah. So I'd be sitting there drawing, and then he'd be like, "What are you doing?" And I'd come across my artwork, and I'm like, "Go away." He goes, "No, Dean." He laid across my art piece, and I'm like, "Draw me like one of your French girls, Dean." And I'm like, "No." And I grabbed a hold of him, I touched him underneath me, and I'm drawing. He's just the whole time. And it's just, and I am his human, and whenever, and I'm going to be very, very. It's going to be a sad day when he passes. He's an older cat now, but every night I'm in bed, he's saddled up next to me. He waits for me to go to bed, and he gets terse if I'm up too late. And he goes, "It's time for bed." I'm like,
my kiddo does the same thing to me. It's like, hey.
Yeah. But art has been a wonderful thing just to get people involved. I love, again, building that type of community and having that, sharing those sketchbooks with people at shows. Seeing when people put in those sketchbooks, I've gotten just a wide variety of fantastic sketches. Sharing a little bit of like your talent, your spirit, your connection. Creating that spiral up. I saw an interesting quote the other day. I love it. The connection has always been there. The connection is not new. Your awareness of the connection is.
Oh, yep. No, I've heard something like that. I love that. Your awareness of it. It's the only thing that changed.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, but wouldn't you say that art, writing, all of it, it really all is about connection? It's all about that, interweaving.
Oh, very, very much so. It's all about active self-expression. It's all about creating the space to allow yourself to be vulnerable and to share. Because sharing is not only cathartic for the person experiencing the art, but also for the person, it's also an act of healing for the person who's doing the artwork.
Yeah, it really is. But within that healing, it's also, I guess for me anyway, it's about making people feel like they're not alone.
Exactly. It's, again, building community.
Good evening, Delia, Jeannie Welch. Hello.
Nice.
Sarah, reading Steiger. Hi. And Sarah, new here, what's this? Well, Sarah, this is an interview with our local, artist, community pillar, I guess. art show host, and also you put on art marts as well. So yeah, we're interviewing him for his upcoming art show Under the Sea, August 2nd and 3rd.
Yes, it is. 2nd and 3rd at the Des Moines New Age Shop. It has been an absolute pleasure. I've had the opportunity to do art exhibitions at the Des Moines New Age Shop since 2019, and
well, we love having you.
I know. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. I remember the first time I was gonna put on the Jurassic Art Show, and the venue I had planned for it kept having to reschedule the event due to a matter of things, and you were just like, we'll just have a show here. And I'm like, okay, so I made it happen. And then you were like, so when's the next show? I'm like, I'm like, so I came up with another show, and then I think that was the arcade, and then we did. I do about 4 shows a year with the Des Moines New Age Shop with very different themes. I think this year we've done, what was it, the Cats and Dogs art show. We did Art of Aliens. We're doing Under the Sea, and then we're doing the Art of Magic.
Yes. Sarah Reading Steiger. Cool. I'm from Michigan. Oh my God. I was raised in Flint, Michigan. Awesome. Mwah! Say hello to Michigan for me. Now, Dean, what got you into doing art shows? Why did you decide to do art shows?
Why did I start doing art shows? Well,
actually, let's preface that. Hold on just one second. Tell me why, instead of just doing your own art like a gallery show, like a lot of people do, why invite the whole community in? I know why, but I want you to tell everybody else. By the way, also, I do know it's all women on the comments right now, dude. All right, we're going to call you Big D from now on. Okay, go ahead.
I've been called so many things. Anyway, so I did post a link earlier. So why do I do art shows? Why do I like doing shows with other people? Because it's kind of like the idea of in 2014. It was kind of actually the same origin as when I started doing the art marts. I love community. I love doing things together. Because it's not just about me. It's not just about what I can do. When you put water in a reservoir, and when you put water in the harbor, all the ships go up together. My belief is, again, community. We all empower each other. And so I actually started out, 2014, I didn't have a show one month, and I looked at my fiance, I'm like, I don't have a show this month. She said, just make your own show. I go, can I do that? So I did. So I went to a local restaurant in Beaverdale, where I live. At that time, it was called Tolly's. And I was like, can I have a show here? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, cool. And so I basically occupied the main area, and we set up some tables. We had artists show up and sell their artwork for the day, and it was fantastic. And people were like, this is really cool. So I asked Tolly's, I'm like, can we do it again? They're like, yeah. And it was great. And then I've done art marts at the Des Moines New Age Shop, Chuck's Pizza, Mayhem, Buddha Boo, Magic Miniatures on Main in Ames, Uptown Garage, Atlas Games, many other places. And it's always super fun to just see the menagerie of artists, and then of course doing the art exhibitions and just seeing the art being produced by talented, wonderful people with a whole spectrum of art and styles and creativity and expression, and just seeing those things put up on the walls, and seeing this array of color and expression and texture. It blows my mind every time. I am honored to be able to present this space to not only the artists, but to the community that comes to enjoy the art, that purchase the art, that just supports local art, local awesome. And so yeah, it's awesome.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Now Sarah says she's in Lapeer, not far from Flint. I need more coffee. Not far from Flint. Awesome. Okay, heck yeah. And then Delia Jeannie Welch, Fairgrounds. Okay, I'm not sure. Yeah, he is the head of Artist Alley
Oh,
in Fairgrounds at our
yep, yep.
show at Fairgrounds. Hey, quick thing right before anything else. Okay, Deano, you know that I had to reschedule my March show, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And I appreciate you being an awesome dude about that and not being a wang about it. You're very cool.
Thank you.
So it looks like I'm actually going to be able to reschedule it for this September.
Oh, nice.
And I'm partnering up with Des Moines Kennel Club. Well, technically Dennis is. He's
Oh,
worked all the angles on that. And the guy from Des Moines Kennel Club that approached us, he is just amazing. He is super cool. His name's Scott.
nice.
So puppies and psychics. Who doesn't love
I
puppies?
I feel like that somehow that works.
I know, right? Puppies and
Yeah.
psychics. And I'm a dog person anyway.
Mhm.
But I wanted to talk to you a little bit more. I want to make sure there have been a couple of different things going on, but I do want to talk to you a little bit more in person about potentially having you with an artist alley there, if not booked.
Excuse me, sorry. Of course.
Okay, cool. It is probably
Oh,
going to be the first weekend in September.
okay. Well, I'll have to look at my calendar, but I'll see what I can do.
Hold on. You can bring your dog to get a reading? Yes, Delia, you can. And this one is going to be an
That's fair.
outdoor show, so we're going to have all kinds of canines and people talking to you.
Excuse me.
They have a guaranteed gate count already of 1,500.
Wow.
That's right there, and that's no matter what I or you or anybody else advertise. So we're just going to build on that. So it's going to be really fun.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds like a great time. Especially that time of year, and getting towards that spooky season, and it's great. And it's just dogs anyway. Pets are great. I haven't met anyone's dog I haven't liked, or I love. That's why I love actually going out to the farmers market downtown. We'll usually take Lady Butterscotch with us, and she's the everybody's like, oh, I love your corgi. I want to pet her. It's kind of
Be
cute.
nice to the corgi. If the corgi does not want you to pet her, do not pet the corgi.
Oh yeah. Lady Butters or Princess Buttercup was I think was a great show dog because we could take her anywhere and she was very chill. Lady Butterscotch, yeah, I'm talking about you, is much more like spirited. Spirited. Yes, I'm talking about you. Yes, you're looking at me. Yes. But no, she's much more spirited than, and so, it kind of depends on the shows we take her to, but no, pets are fantastic. I've drawn a lot of pets. I can draw anything, which is always great. And you were talking about the memorial pieces.
Yes,
I did the piece.
those are my favorite.
I think, yeah. I think it was last December. Excuse me. Just tried to choke on my drink.
Take some time to recover, dude. I don't want you choking to death on this interview. While it would make it a classic and up my readings, I still need you to do art shows. You remember that little post you put on Facebook? That post you got, if I was gone, what would you do? What would you say about me? I would say, all right, get back up. You need to go get some more art shows done.
Right.
Oh.
That's one thing that I always am very, very aware of is being grateful and being appreciative of the people around you. Because you don't know how much time you get with them. You get a lifetime, which is all we get. No more, no less. Which is one of my favorite quotes from Neil Gaiman, the character of Death.
Yes.
You'll get a lifetime, no more, no less. And you get a lifetime with people.
See, I have a bit of a different view. I believe in reincarnation, and the theory is that souls actually travel in groups, learning from each other. It's okay, dude. God, don't die.
That's very, very interesting. I like that. I like the idea. Well, again, building community.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even after you're dead. Um, well, it's energy can never be destroyed. It's just moved. So
Just moved.
it just
Transferred.
moved. And whatever you believe, it's the idea of energy.
Mhm.
It's everything is an energy exchange.
Mhm.
When I'm at an art show, everyone who comes by my table, there's an exchangement of energy. When you meet people, when you interact with people at an art show, interact with a thing, it's all about energy.
Yeah.
It's all about building either that good kind of energy or that bad kind of energy, and figure out what works best for you. And
What about that? Got it.
no. But it's much like it's like eating food. If you're eating stuff that's not good for you, if you're eating stuff that's good for you, if you're eating stuff that's good for your soul, which is different than it may not be the healthy food, but it's good for your soul. I believe there is such a thing as good company, good food, good time. So
Dean, come on, you are definitely the Wine Women song guy. Did you
I am.
did you ever watch the series Babylon 5?
I love Babylon 5.
Thank you. Oh my God, I'm gonna hug you when I see you next time. Okay. Anyways, do you remember the character of Londo Milan?
Yes.
In some ways, you make me think of him. Him and Delenn were my two favorite characters on the series. I loved them, but they were opposites. Delenn's all spiritual and everything, and Londo's like, "Yay, it's a Wine Women song, woo!" But in some ways, his philosophy kind of remind me of him.
Well, thank you. You have not been the first one who said that.
I bet.
No, I grew up in a sci-fi household. We Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon. Listening, Doc Savage. Comic books, Fantastic Four, all that fun stuff, and grew up reading tons of books. And just cultivating an imagination. My mother always said, "I do not have boring children, so I made myself interesting." So
okay.
Yes.
Now, one thing that really surprised me, considering how busy you always are, and I mean, you are just like on fire all the time, which is interesting because you're a water sign. But one thing you told me, and I was shocked at, that you love to read.
I do.
I was like, how do you ever have time,
Well, I may not have time, I may not be able to sit down, and devote, 3-4 hours to a book, but I do have at least three or four books running at different times, depending on where I'm at. Yeah. I have a home book. I have a book that kind of sits in my, my laptop bag for work. I have, some in different parts of the house. So yeah, it kind of all depends on where I'm at. And I may pick it up, I may be able to get maybe 3-4 pages, maybe a chapter 2. But yeah, it's something at least. And the written word is very important. I'm a huge fan of sensory, of tactile.
Oh.
And I love a good book. I love the smell of pages and ink and feeling the words.
Now, did you know that scent that comes off of books, that unique scent, it's actually the wood decaying?
That is a beautiful thing because
it is. We are literally okay, God, what was it? What's that quote? We're staring at dead trees, hallucinating the stories. You can't tell me reading isn't tripping.
Oh yeah. And I love that idea.
I absolutely love the written word. And, I started writing. I mean, I've always had the creative stories going, but I started writing after a period of intense stress. But But the reason why I started reading my stories is because a lot of people that I know are starting to have vision problems, really severe, advanced vision problems. And they were always like, I wish I could read. I wish I could do this. And this was one of the things I wanted to do for them.
That's fantastic. Again, sharing your stories, having that, whether people can read a story or not. I love audiobooks. I have a friend of mine. He's an avid audiobook guy. It's much easier to listen to an audiobook sometimes because, your hands are free. You're in a car. It's being spoken by somebody.
It's only if you can listen to audiobooks. My husband's the audiobook fiend. He has a little bit more trouble reading because he's got ADHD. I love to read, but you turn on an audiobook for me and I'm gone. Yep. I had to rewind one 16 times. On the first 2 paragraphs, I was like, okay, I'm done. But there are a lot of people, and when the vision begins to go, they begin to calm down and start listening more. The other thing I did it for is later on, when Arthur grows up, he can go back and have me read him stories.
Aww. See, that's wonderful. That's a beautiful thing. It's my fiance. Her dad passed away. It was about a year ago this year, and before he passed, they did a thing where they compiled a bunch of his stories into a book. So when he passed, they got kind of a story of his life that they were able to kind of read over. Now, of course, can you really compile a person's life into a book?
No, but you can do an homage.
You can do an homage at best, because I know if I were to write a book of my life, it would be very
crazy.
long.
I'd definitely read that.
Crazy. It would also be out of order. I would want to. I would literally put it would be like chapter 1, chapter 6, back to chapter 2. 4, and then 3.5, and then I would want that in a way, because that's kind of the way I tell a story, because there's no there's a flow, but then of course I will interrupt myself. I will then go off into a tangent. I will then come back to this tangent and then go from there.
Dennis has the same issue. Only he never comes back around. He's just like, oh yeah, and then shiny. He's a Gemini.
Shiny. Yeah. I was told I speak like I was having a conversation, and someone made an observation. I don't know if it's true or not, but they're like, "You speak like a Russian does." I go, "Okay, well, what does that mean?" And they're like, "Well, there's a point, and then you go as far out from that point as possible, and then come back to it, and then go back out, and then come back in." And it's just it was just very. This is very interesting observation that sometimes people have, and it reminds me of one of my favorite stories from doing various different shows. I was at a show one time, and I had my table set up, and I'm working on some artwork or whatnot. And this lady comes by, and she's very respectful. She's just asking about my artwork, and we're talking and whatnot. And when people come by, she kind of steps aside, that people can kind of observe the table, and we're talking, and she goes, "You don't have nightmares, do you?" I go, "Well, not very often, no." Because your artwork is a lot of color and a lot of positivity. And I'm like, "Well, thank you." And she bought a piece of artwork, and she goes, "I love the energy that's in this piece of artwork." I go, "Well, thank you." And she started to rub it on her face.
You told me this one. This is one of my favorites.
Yep. And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, I don't care what you do after you buy it. That's fine. But it's just those wonderful.
Did you tell her though to beware of paper cuts?
Well, it was in a little plastic sleeve, so it was fine. And again, she already bought it. Money was in hand. It was exchanged. Whatever happens, and it's on her at that point. But it's just one of those moments where you, again, you have those fun stories you share with people. I've had stories where people have asked me to draw some bizarre things, who have not come back and actually got the artwork, which I thought was bummed, because I'm like, oh, I would have loved to have drawn that if you were just. I'm like, they're like, "Can you draw this?" I'm like, "Yes," and they're like, they walk away and they never come back. I'm like, ah.
Money down first, Tommy.
Right. Well, yeah.
Money better be down first.
Yeah. An exchange of energy. We're exchanging it. You're giving me money for goods and services. You know.
No, I always love the way you put that. It's an exchange of energy. It's just money.
Exchange of money. Well, money in itself, is an embodiment of your energy. You have done something to manifest this thing, which is money. Yes. And then you were taking this money and you were going, I need this, or I would like this, or I would like to do this. So yeah, it's a tool. Yes, yes. Being an adult, I've taught my son that, and that that this isn't just this represents hours. This represents a thing, and I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very proud of him. That the fact that he is so emotionally aware, and that he is so he has much more knowledge than I did at his age. So
that's awesome. It's always good when you can be like, yes, I won.
I did. I'm ecstatic, and he's getting married in October, so I'm very, very happy about that. So
now, is this from your first marriage or before? Or?
Oh no, this is Patty's son, Derek, or I call him Bucky, and he's mine. And so cool. I showed up. He was 13. The first time we met, he looked like he was like a Bond villain. It was great. He's dressed in a black robe, stroking the cat, going, hello.
Okay. And so, you guys got that out of the way real fast.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. It was a great moment. Oh, yeah. Thick as thieves. His name is Derek. I call him Bucky because I'm Captain America and he's Bucky. And so that's how that works. And so, but yeah, no, he's just fantastic, and I'm proud of him. And he's getting married in October to his wonderful fiance, and I couldn't be happier. And yeah, it's that wonderful energy exchange in life, building community, finding those people that you resonate with, that you vibe with, that you can love, and that can love you in return, and you have that simpatico, that spiritual mundi.
Yeah, no, I get that. What is it? You will be too much for some people. Those are not your people. Move on and find your people.
Yep. It's like I told people, I am the sun. You're either going to love me or I'm going to burn you.
Well, I love you from afar, Dean. Because I'm right now.
It's all right. It's all about small doses.
I know, right? Now, another thing I wanted to mention, on your art shows, you are just unreasonably well priced. You're very fair.
Oh, thank you.
$10. That's just ridiculous. That's awesome. I mean, that is an opportunity that no artist should pass up.
Oh, yeah. The hanging fee? Oh, yes, of course. Well, again, I want to make it very, very accessible for people. But I've also realized in my years of doing shows.
Oh, Delia Jeannie Welch. Yes! Thank you, Delia.
I call it an emotional investment, much like where if you're emotionally invested in something, you're going to show up. You're going to be a part of it. You're going to be engaged. And I want my artists. I want people to be engaged. I want people to be happy. I want people to enjoy the process. That's why I like getting the artists together, and we have a little messenger online. People can share their artwork. I love when seeing this progress that people sharing artwork and sharing this community and building on each other, and it just makes me happy. I love seeing people succeed, seeing people do things they haven't done before, having them be encouraged and be inspired by other people, as I am by them. Again, it's just a simpatico thing. It's just energy in, energy out.
No, I think it's amazing because I know all the hard work that goes into it. I was actually talking with Antoinette about it a couple times. She's like, my God, in your bigger cities like Dallas and stuff like that, you couldn't get a resume builder like this. as an artist, not for something like that. And then you run around and you use your own money and your own time. You work a full-time job, and you're tacking posters up and you're doing all this stuff and you're just working your butt off. And we're just like, all right, everybody needs to appreciate this dude because this dude rocks. He is awesome. Antoinette's like, okay, he's inspired me to put pieces in and I don't even do art. Okay, that's how awesome it is,
Thank you. Again, it's a pleasure to be of service. It's a pleasure to create something that I know will last. It's the whole starfish in the ocean type thing. You may not get everyone, but those you inspire, you touch, they get you.
Yes.
They're the ones that share your heart, share your vision, and I love that. I love that environment. And it's just, I don't know. It's high praise for the amazing artists I have gotten to work with, interact with on a daily basis. That I could see them at shows. At shows, yeah. Again, I drank some seltzer water and it bubbles. But yeah, it's just the opportunity. Like in the show, we have Jeremiah and Megan Labrash, and they do Art is Rad, which is a wonderful event on Mondays at 515 Brewery. They do like a fun little art get together night on Mondays, which is awesome. And then just the different artists, different newer artists. This is like I think her name is Katie. Her name is Katie. She's out of Carlisle. I think this is her very first art exhibition. So I'm very happy to be kind of her first step into doing cool shows, and especially this doing the under the sea subject is always very interesting to give people a subject and to see what is created. So it's just and if people are interested, I think there's a couple spots left for artists, and of course I think there are spots left for the Art of Magic coming up in October. So I'm already working on pieces for the Art of Magic. So because I know I'll be very, very busy between now and then. So
I've got a couple ideas in mind for Art of Magic, and one of them ties in with a story I'm doing.
Nice.
I've been doing that a little bit more often, and I really like doing it because the engagement is better. People are like, oh my God, there's more to this. It's like, yeah, there is. Oh, Delia Jeannie Welch. I appreciate that, Dean. Yes.
It is my pleasure. Again, it's great seeing artists also return like Jeannie. I haven't seen her in a while, but it's nice to see her back at doing an art exhibition with us. And then I love her artwork. It's very creative and very multimedia. She had some painted rocks at one show, and I still have it, and it's fantastic. It just has a great design on it. See, it's always very funny to me. It's like with this camera here, and it's like, reminds me of one of the quotes from the first Doctor. It goes, put your expressions up here because the TV is very small, and put your expressions up here, and it just makes me laugh.
Hey, what do you think of the new Doctor? She did that one.
I love the new Doctor.
He's doing an amazing job.
Oh, I wasn't shocked. I was just like, I'm excited. I am a huge fan of Doctor Who. I'm an original Who. I've been watching Doctor Who since I was watching on PBS. And I think Peter Davison was technically my first Doctor. But I am a huge fan of Colin Baker, who is the Rainbow Doctor, and he's the only Doctor that tried to kill his companion twice. So,
well, actually, go ahead.
No. So I really like him just for the fact that I like his creativity. I like the way that was kind of portrayed. But again, I'm a huge fan of the Doctor's different regenerations. I love Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, Eccleston, Tennant, Smith, Capaldi, just them all. They're all phenomenal.
Own kind of energy to the part. I have to say though, of course, Peter Davison, had a huge crush on him when I was little. He was just like, ah! But I have to say, I think I like Christopher Eccleston and Matt Smith the best for the way they played their character. Matt Smith had that childlike wonder about him, and Eccleston, I mean, you just wanted to pull up a chair and be friends with him. He just had that energy to him.
I actually really like there's an episode I quote this very often. It goes, "Justice once rose, no one dies," and it's from I believe, what was it? It was Chris Eccleston. It was the Something Child, but it was just that quote. Usually when I have a bad day, I'm like, "Justice once rose, no one dies," and it just makes me laugh. And actually, look at that. Hey, Dr. Who.
Woohoo! Yeah. Now, one thing I was going to mention, an old buddy of mine, Brad, he loved Doctor Who. He was like beyond fandom. He actually knitted his own scarf. Okay, he learned how to knit just for that.
Nice.
And he was listening to the radio dramas and stuff, and he told me apparently the reason why the Rainbow Doctor dressed the way he did, there was a species that was just horrible out there, and he was their boogeyman because that color patterning just freaked them out so bad that he looked like the boogeyman to them. To us, he looks like, oh my God, what are you doing? But to them, he was terrifying. He was utterly horrifying. So I
like that. Well, and it goes back to the original thing, is like, either when you appear to someone, you are either going to be an angel or a devil.
Okay.
Yeah. What was it? There's a quote from Hellraiser. Demons to some, angels to others. And really, that's what life's about. Again, you find your people, you find your vibration, you find your energy, you find your tribe, your community. You find your groups of angels, you find your groups of demons. Whatever you need. Life is too short to be unhappy. Life is too short to settle for not being awesome. So
you are very positive. You are probably you are the most positive Scorpio I have ever met.
Well, I have a cusp.
Cusp of Libra?
Sagittarius.
Wow. Okay, then that might be part of it, but no. I've met people on the cusp of Scorpio, Sag. No, baby. I don't know what's going on in your chart, but one of these days I'm going to take a look at it. Now, Delia Jeannie Welch, thank you. I still want a piece of your art. I don't have anything. And then Delia, my friend's marriage was all done in Doctor Who, and everyone dressed as a character, and the wedding cake was a telephone booth. So cool.
That's awesome. Oh, that'd be great. I would love that.
That into Doctor Who. I love it, but I'm not quite there. But yeah, that is very, very neat.
If I can have my way, I've heard about this. So if you're not familiar with Doctor Who, the Doctor, when he dies, he regenerates into a different form that looks completely different. What I would like to do, if I could, is at my funeral have somebody show up dressed like me and go,
this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, just like, a little Doctor reincarnation. But again, it's just one of those things that I actually, I think that would just be super fun. But I've also had all these little things about, like, when I pass, like, what do I want to do? Like, what do I want to, like, put my ash into the little baby food jars with smiley faces on them and hand them out? Do I want to bake myself into cookies? I don't know, just all these things.
No.
But like popcorn. But like all these things you think about, I don't know if you think about that, but I'm like,
actually, to be honest, I was just talking about this a couple psychic roundtables ago. Actually, what I'd like to do, there's a new thing where you can get your ashes put into diamonds, get them grown into diamonds.
True.
And then it's actually protective.
Nice.
because you are going with your children or whoever you give these to.
Aw.
You know, so of course with Wub, and then if I have any other kids biologically, but also if I adopt any, they would always be able to carry a piece of me, not a keepsake, but an actual piece of me. So I thought about doing that. And then what I also want to do, I got to get the money up to do it, but I want to do a family mausoleum. It's about $28,000. You know, those buildings, those stone buildings. Yeah. Okay. I want to get it put over a node of a ley line here in Iowa to keep it clean.
Nice.
And that way, you know, ancestral magic is going to get a whole lot easier. I told Dennis I was going to put his urn right next to my dad's. They hate each other. I'm going to be in the main coffin. And of course, you know, I'm going to have that little urn there. Then when one passes, he's going to be next to me. But Dennis and Dad will be next to each other for all eternity. He's like, you would do that. I'm like, yes, I would. So,
it's all about good humor. It's all about there's a joke.
That's just mean. But,
you know. No, I think you would. I don't laugh. I think you would.
Stop it. I asked Mom if she wanted to be buried with us, and she said, "Hell no." I'm like, "Too bad, Mom. You're gonna go before I do."
Wow.
Oh, you are so evil. I'm like, just remember, Mom, I'm half you. But no, I really want to do a family mausoleum, and I know it's a little expensive, but I really think it would help out with the energy and everything.
I think so. It's a thing to think about, but again, you know, it's good about thinking about tomorrow. But tomorrow, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow's tomorrow. Today, we will have a good time, and. Alicia, it's always a wonderful time. You know, I was trying to figure out if this is a filter, but are you wearing a wig and are those horns?
What do you think?
I'm thinking you're wearing a wig and those are horns. Because I was trying to figure out whether they were a filter. I'm like, nope, that's not a filter.
No, this is a filter. The background.
Yeah, that's a filter.
I figured out I really love stained glass, and I've got it all through my website and everything like that. But the horns and the glasses and the wig, they're kind of a thing for when I read the stories. So I figured I'd bring them on through with the interviews.
Well, I love it. I'm a huge fan of tieflings, and so I like girls with horns, you know.
Well, I don't know what it is. I love this particular design. So I like the black horns.
It's a good aesthetic on you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. As always, it is my pleasure.
Well, I would like to do another interview with you when it comes time before the Art of Magic.
Of course.
To talk a little bit about that. I wanted to get you on here and kind of bring about, you know, bring out of you how you got started in all this and what really inspired you. And so for a first interview, I think this went really well.
Well, I think most of my interviews go well. So, again, Alicia, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me on here. Thanks for everyone who's watching. And, of course, come on out to the Under the Sea, August 2nd and 3rd. And, of course, 2nd, it'll be from 4:30 to 7 p.m. The 3rd, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., of course, during the second fair in the foyer of the Des Moines New Age Shop. Yep. And yes, so I'm excited with a lot of really fantastic artists. I've seen some of the artwork produced so far. It's phenomenal. Burn Ricky Love, art is rad. You know, Alicia, and well, you're in.
I don't have my stuff done. I'm working on it, and you know me. He's like, "Oh my God, woman, you had 3 months. Get the pieces done." But you never say that to me.
You always get them done. I never have to worry. For those who would like to do shows, I will give you a piece of advice. If you're a masochist and you like pain, put together your own shows. No, it's like herding cats sometimes, and it's fine. I've had some wonderful people in my life who've given me some wonderful suggestions about how to do my shows and make them bigger. And I look at them. I look at them. I'm like, so what part would you like to participate in? And they look at me like, what? I'm like, no, 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 no. See, I love the fact, I love your enthusiasm, and I love your input that I did not ask for. But if you're going to, if you're going to input, you're going to participate. So,
See, Dean, that's that monkey in you. Chinese side of the monkey. You got that really. Me as a dog, I'm like, look, I am tired. I have had enough. If you want to do something, you do it. You know, but you're just like, well, of course. Go ahead. You be fabulous too. Bye-bye. You know,
yes, yeah.
You just have that. You're just like, okay, no problem,
Mm-hmm.
baby. Here you go. Here you go.
It's all
like,
good.
Whoa. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh.
Sad face. One of my favorite things to always think about is the theologian Bobby Farron once said, "Don't worry, be happy."
True.
And so no reason not to be happy. I actually had some Chinese food tonight that said, "Hey, positivity brings happiness." I go, and my fiance looks next to me. She goes, you are already that." I'm like,
we're literally the happiest dude on the planet, and you don't take anything for it. No caffeine, no nothing. I mean, damn, that is pretty awesome.
No, I do like coffee, but I don't need coffee. I do like the flavor. Again, you find the things you like. You find good flavors. You find good accents. You find good people. You find good times. You find those elements in your life that you want and cultivate those, and you appreciate those, and you build those, and you create a life for yourself that you enjoy. You can wake up to and be like, I love this. I love you. Thanks for being here.
So my question is, when I'll cover one other thing, but my question is, when you wake up and you find that you don't love your life and you don't love where you are, if that's ever happened to you, which I know it has, what do you do?
I open the window.
Please don't tell me you jump out of it.
No. I've always been a huge advocate of prayer, of seeking God and seeking moments of clarity.
Okay.
And it was very funny. When I was going through my divorce, I became depressed. And now
I can't picture you depressed. Wow.
Yes. No. I was this is a very weird feeling. Now I understand brain health, depression, a very real thing. A lot of people can't shake it. And it's not something you can shake, it's just something that's kind of like it's something, and it's awful. And it's awful, and it's kind of heartburn. I've never okay. I experienced depression. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like this is awful. I had heartburn one time. It was awful. I don't want to again. I have friends of mine who have like perpetual heartburn or like depression, and I'm like, I had heartburn once, and I didn't like it. So I just and they're like you only had heartburn like a couple times. I go, yeah. They're like, we hate you. I go, oh. But it's those moments of just realizing that the moment you're in is not forever. And that, letting yourself be loved, letting yourself have the same grace, the same forgiveness, the same love that you give others, allowing yourself to be reminded that you are to have these same things, that you are allowed to be happy, that you're allowed to enjoy the things you enjoy. They are allowed to be yourself. I'm a huge proponent in just people being themselves. There are again, this life is short. You get but a lifetime, and no more, no less. And in that lifetime, you need to be yourself. Or like Rob Thomas once said, if you can't be yourself, be someone like you.
Oh, I love Rob Thomas.
Yeah.
Hitting all my buttons today.
Right. I'm always hitting buttons.
Delia Jeannie Welch. I really like your wig. Red and black are my favorite colors. Well, thank you, Delia. I appreciate that. Actually, this aesthetic always reminds me of my Aunt Nancy. Red and black are her absolute favorites. She is Japanese Hawaiian, excuse me. Never Hawaiian Japanese, always Japanese Hawaiian. But she loves red and black. So one of these days, when she gets Wi-Fi in her house and she sees all this, she's gonna laugh. She's gonna be like, "Oh my God." I'm like, I dance. But the other thing I wanted to mention, thank you, Delia. But the other thing I wanted to mention was I love how welcoming and opening you are. You even let my son in, and you know that my son and I, we co-do everything. He gives me the colors, he gives me the background, he gives me the subject matter, he helps me paint the backdrop, and then he outsources the details to mommy. My kid will literally,
what a good kid.
I know nobody would believe me, but so it's a good thing I run a new age shop, right? He literally puts the picture in my head.
Aww.
I'm like, what do you want to paint? I'm like,
love that.
The first couple of times he did it, I was like, okay, there is no way. I believe in new age and psychic and everything. And so I started going through magazines and he started picking out the pictures that were exactly what I saw in my head.
Nice.
I'm like, okay, alrighty then, cool, And so now it's actually pretty cool.
I love it. I love seeing the pieces that are produced. I love seeing the evolution of Arthur's art, and I love the fact that you guys can work on it together. I was going to mention before, I love the pieces that you've been doing that incorporate your stories, and I love the opportunity at the last show where you had the little. There we go. That allowed people to engage and read your story and find out more about this piece, and that's stellar. I love that.
Thank you. I really appreciate
You're welcome.
Fingers crossed I can get something bigger done. I'm kind of going for a competition, so fingers crossed. I'm not going to say any more until it's done, though. You know me.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like magic. It just happens, right? All the hard work. Nobody sees it, but it's like magic.
It's all behind it. It was the Wizard of Oz. Ignore the man behind the screen.
Behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain. Ignore the man behind the curtain. Just see what's there. I'm a huge fan of Wizard of Oz, and I'm a huge fan of just again, it's those great moments of creativity and seeing having when artists drop off their artwork. The afternoon of the show, and we start setting it up, and I see all this artwork, coming in and being dropped off, and seeing all these like colors and expression, and seeing the look of satisfaction on the artist's face, and especially when I'm like, hey, can I get a picture with you in your artwork? And they're like, really? And they get this excitement, and then seeing all the artwork get set up and having people walk through the gallery and just seeing people engage with the artwork, and they're like, oh, that's so awesome. And then I just some people, and then the opportunities when the artist is there and are able to actually see the interaction that other people have with their arts. That's great. I love that. I love looking at the artist. I love observing those moments, and it's just, again, it's a gift. It's a gift that not only enriches the environment, but enriches the artist, the arts, and the people who get to observe it. So.
One of the things I really wanted to say for any artists out there, I have had different artists say, oh, well, I don't sell my piece, or da. One thing I want to say, and they've asked me, why do you keep putting in? You tag your stuff really high and all that. I'm like, because I make prints out of it. I make prints, I make t-shirts, I make merch, But here's the thing. There were a few years, there were probably about 2, 3, 4, where I wouldn't have done anything if I had not paid to be in your show. And I told myself, you know what? I put that money down. I'm going to make these pieces, and that's how it's going to be, Yep. And it kept me moving. It kept me pushing, kept me making and creating. And I've made some really cool stuff,
You have.
That wouldn't have been there if it hadn't been for your shows, because I would have just dropped everything, No matter what place I was in my life, it kept me moving. Same thing with writing competitions. People are like, why do you keep entering? Because I'm growing my resume, one, and two, these are birthing stories that would not be. This is the motivator, the catalyst. Your art shows are a catalyst to making this awesome artwork. And no, you may not sell it right then, but you know what? Somebody's going to connect to it one day.
Exactly. That's the most important thing is not Andy Warhol once said a great quote, and I love this quote. Do not worry whether your art is good or bad. Let other people decide while you make more art.
I love that. I can't quite do that because I've got to make sure it has some standard. Okay. There's gotta be a bar for me, art, writing, anything. It's
cool.
Gotta have some standard.
I'm glad you have a bar. Everyone should have a bar. Everyone should have a standard. Everyone should have a value. And again, not, what was it? It wasn't, not everyone, your audience isn't at every show. There were a lot of shows of mine that I've been at. I was at some of my very first shows. I didn't sell anything.
But you kept going, and look at you now.
I had a wonderful experience. I've met so many amazing people. My life is so enriched, and I am so I'm so blessed to be able to have that, to appreciate the moments that you get. And doing art shows, I've met some really fun people who I've got to share their life. I met a woman who spent her entire life writing books about preparing and making flowers to eat. And
awesome.
Right. I was at a show with her. I was right next to her, and I think I ate my body weight in candied flowers, and I consumed probably a lot of rose wine and Deano wine.
So do you still have her number and info? Because I'm going to need that. No. Darn it.
Right. No. It was actually a beautiful. It was almost like a story. I felt like it wasn't even real, because she was like, this was her last show in like Iowa, and then she was flying away to Paris to retire. I'm like,
oh my God.
Right. Again, you've spent your entire life doing this thing. And you're like, I'm retired. I have a flat in Paris. I am going to be flying to literally after this show. I am going to the airport, get a plane, and I'm like, that is one of those moments where you're that's a Howard Hughes film right there. It's just like a
cinematic moment.
It's a very cinematic moment, yeah. But it's just, again, you share those stories with people. I love sharing stories with other artists and other people at shows. I've gotten so many people involved in shows because people have just shown up to the show. They're like, hey, I hear this show. Can I do this thing? I go, yeah, anybody can do this thing. There's no prerequisite. There's no, I don't expect you to be like, oh, well, you have to have like an artist, PhD and something. I want you to be in the show if you want to make the art. That's all I want. I want you to have a space. And I've been, again, Alicia, you've created such a wonderful space with the Des Moines New Age Shop that cultivates community, togetherness, all blending of spirituality, of faith, of understanding, of just connection, of just people, of just hearts and souls, minds, just all the synchronicity. And it's a great space for that. It's a great space to have a good art show. It's a great space to just enjoy your life, and see what draws you, see what you can say yes to in your life. If we keep saying yes to things, we can't say no to ourselves. So
very true. All right. Well, and like I've told everybody, you are probably, you, D. Ryan, and Sean Pallick, you guys are some of the most down-to-earth, amazing art people I have ever met, art promoters and all that, because you guys, you know, there's a lot of people, when I talk to them, they are so turned off to artists because they've met the, I am an artist, and my work is a barista in a roach-covered flat, but I'm an artist, worship me. And it's just like, and they just get turned off, you know, or they were really bullied over it in school or anything like that. And I'm like, guys, no, Deano is not that way. He is super cool.
No.
Come meet him. Meet him if you don't believe me. And they're like, well, you're pretty cool. I'm like, yeah. And if I am like, this dude is cool, then you know what? Yeah. And so they're like, okay, you know, I've had a lot of people, they're just like, wow, that I can't believe this guy is that down to earth. And I'm like, told you.
I had a very interesting quote by someone who had met me, and they're like, I could not. Okay, when I first met Dean, I thought he was.
When
When I first met Dean, I thought he was the most fake person alive. There's no way there can be a person that's that happy all the time.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
But then I was wrong. I realized there is one person who could be like that all the time, and that is in fact Dean. And I'm like, oh, and he goes, and he went on to some other quotes, but it was basically, he was like, my perception of reality was so jaded that I couldn't see the fact and appreciate the fact that, look at this in front of me, until you encounter something that draws in a piece of you and that makes you better. And all I want to do is make people better. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Delia, I am heading out, guys. Good night. Well, okay, Delia. Thank
Good
you
night.
so much for coming on. That's awesome. And Dean, I think I'm going to wrap this up because I'm getting hungry again.
That sounds like a plan. And it is 10:17, but it was a pleasure. Again, I can't wait to see all the wonderful art that's produced at the show. I can't wait to see what other things are coming up soon. If you're interested in the art of magic, or the a couple spots left for the Undersea Art Show, and of course the Artist Alley in September. Go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, as always, be awesome. Bye.
Night, Dean. Thank you.
Good night. Goodbye.
Night. All right, all. Thanks for joining us tonight. That was Dean Sturtevant of Green Unicorn Art. All around awesome dude, art show promoter, art promoter, and artisan himself. Well, artist himself. All right, guys. Love you all. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. And have a good night. Till next time. Bye.